Basketball's back in the Bluegrass, and Big Blue Nation's out in full force to see their beloved Cats tonight. Expectations are sky high around the Commonwealth tonight. It's the latest edition of Kentucky basketball's blue and white scrimmage. Well, welcome to historic Memorial Coliseum. Noah Frary alongside a couple of UK greats, Michaela Epps, Travis Ford, and if last Saturday was the appetizer, that makes tonight the main course. And on the men's side, this is a restocked cupboard, and they're led by a pretty talented guard room with Jalen Lowe leading the charge.
Yeah, it's a loaded backcourt. Jalen Lowe, a high-scoring, all-ACC transfer from Pittsburgh. Strength is taking the ball off the dribble. Can really score one-on-one. Great stealing the ball. After his highest score as he is, he averaged 6 assists last year, and he's got a great three-point shot. Didn't shoot the greatest percentages, but I look in this system, Mark Post system, for his percentages to go way up.
Now, Travis, you're a big fan of Colin Chandler. Was great down the stretch of last year, really showing some potential.
Yeah, I'm expecting a lot out of Colin Chandler. The last 11 games last year, he scored 62 of his 80 points on the season, averaged almost 7 points a game in those 11 points. I think having another summer of workouts, he looks really comfortable. If any indication of how he practiced yesterday is what he's going to do this season, then he's in for a big one.
Now, Kentucky on the women's side, Michaela, this is the tallest team that Kenny Brooks has ever coached, and they're led by an SEC Defensive Player of the Year, Clara Strack.
Absolutely. This is Kenny Brooks' tallest team, and I am a fan of the Kenny Brooks era, starting with Clara Strack, my favorite player to wear the blue and white. Clara Strack, like you said, SEC Defensive Player of the Year last year, averaged 15 points, 8 rebounds. Looking for her to definitely have a double-double this season and lead the Wildcats on a strong tenure. Clara Strack is amazing. She's versatile. She's all that we love and need. Amelia Hassett, this is our Aussie. I love the Aussie. She's got long range. She's versatile. She's agile. Last year, she averaged 8 points, 8 rebounds, and I'm looking for her to really step up and be an asset for the Cats this year. Her, Strack, and Tiani Key, that's a three-headed monster. That's a long three-headed monster, and I'm very interested and eager to watch them play this year.
The triplets expected to lead the way for Kentucky women's basketball. Let's not waste any more time. Let's meet Kentucky's latest women's team.
A 6'3" freshman from Dedham, Massachusetts, number 20, Kaylin Carroll. A 6'5" freshman from Hudiksvall, Sweden, number 15, Elsa Markle. A 6'2" sophomore from Orlando, Florida, number 4, Lexi Ooh. A 5'8" junior from San Diego, California, number 8, Asia Boo. A 5'10" junior from Harrisonburg, Virginia, number 11, Gabby Brooks. A 6'5" junior from Buffalo, New for your Kentucky women's basketball team.
Every record has a sound, a story. And last year, the track was rewritten. In just his first year at Kentucky, head coach Kenny Brooks became Sporting News National Coach of the Year, led the Wildcats to a top 10 national ranking, and tied the fastest mark in program history to reach 20 wins. 11 SEC opponents beaten by 8 or more, an 11-1 non-conference record, 5 AP Top 25 wins, and 12 school records shattered. With stars like Georgia Amore and Clara Strack, two of the nation's top transfers, the future only grew brighter. Amore became the highest WNBA draft pick of Coach Brooks' career, number 6 overall. But around here, breaking records isn't the finish line, it's the standard.
And we're not done yet.
Big Blue Nation, let me hear you! All right, hold on. We're going to be really good this year. I need you to be a little bit louder. Big Blue Nation, let me hear you! I tell you what, last year was a whirlwind, but it was phenomenal. And I thought our young women came out and they played extremely hard. They represented the University of Kentucky. They represented you very, very well. And we won a lot. We beat Louisville in this building. We beat Tennessee in this building. And we could not have done it without you guys. I promise you, one of the reasons why I came to the University of Kentucky was because of you, Big Blue Nation. I knew what you could do. You could stand behind us. And with you behind us, we feel like we can accomplish anything. We feel like we have the talent. This beautiful venue is going to get loud. That's all we need you to do is be in the stands, bring a friend. November the 3rd, we're going to kick it off. We need it to look like this and even better because we have a phenomenal talented team that we're going to come out, we're going to play really hard for you. So we want to thank you for everything that you did for us last year. It was a great year, and we're looking for a better one. Go Cats!
Well, a fun start to the night already here at Kentucky's blue and white scrimmage. The women's team has taken the floor. They're finishing up some stretches. Michaela, we're going to have some opening drills, and then we're going to get to action. I know you can't wait for that.
Oh yeah, I'm glorified right now just looking up at all of them. They're so tall. We're such a tall team, and like I said, man, Coach Kenny Brooks, I'm his #1 fan and one of his biggest supporters, so I'm very interested and can't wait to watch these ladies play all season.
Amelia Hassett, one of the top returning three-point shooters on this team. A look there at Tiani Key. SEC preseason poll coming out earlier this week, and this Kentucky team in the second year under Kenny Brooks was picked to finish 8th in the conference this season. South Carolina, Michaela, you kind of expect them to be towards the top. Texas was really good. LSU and Tennessee kind of on the rise. And right now Kentucky's got a little room to make a move up in the table.
Absolutely, and we got a room to show and improve and make a statement and show ourselves. So, you know, they picked us 8. Personally, for me, that's a little low. I was thinking 5 or 6, you know, personally, honestly. But, you know, like I said, nothing but a challenge, nothing Coach Brooks and the ladies in the blue and white can't handle. I'm excited to see it go down.
And also what's interesting about this, and talking to Coach Brooks yesterday, picked 8th in the SEC, but nationally they're ranked 24th in America. Every team above them in the SEC is in the top 10, top 15. So you look at 8th, yeah, I think they'll finish much higher, no different than they did last year. I think they finished there and finished 4th.
Right, yes.
But, you know, this is a very, very strong, one of the best women's college basketball leagues in America.
Yeah, Coach Brooks likes to call it the WNBA light, and Michaela, I got to say, maybe some bulletin board material right there. Meanwhile, we take a look at the preseason second team All-SEC, and that's where Clara Strack, who was the Defensive Player of the Year in the league last year, finds herself this season, Michaela.
And if Clara's anything like me, and I feel like she is when she wears the blue and white, I feel like she's got a little chip on her shoulder. Preseason second team, like I said, I really believe that Clara's got a chip on her shoulder. I can't wait to ask her later tonight. And, you know, rankings necessarily, especially when it comes to all SEC, mean nothing. The SEC is a highly touted conference, the best conference amongst the United States. So, you know, to be picked in any All-SEC preseason is an honor. But like I said, if Clara's anything like me, I know she's got a chip on her shoulder.
Well, the good thing for you, Michaela, we're not going to have to wait to the end of the night. Clara Strack's going to join us on set momentarily. But this is a roster that looks a little bit different than last year. You bring in Toni Morgan. She's going to replace Georgia Amoore. Asia Boone and Josie Gilvin, I think, could play massive roles on this team as well.
Oh, absolutely. You know, coming behind Georgia Amoore, it's definitely big shoes to fill, but I think I really like Toni Morgan, tough guard, senior leader, transfer from Georgia Tech. Same with Liberty transfer. You know, we played Liberty last year, and that's where we got Asia Boone from. So, you know, glad to have her. And then it's always good, for, in my opinion, to have a Kentucky kid on the roster. So glad to have Josie Gilvin, and I'm sure her Asia Boone will rack up minutes this season as well.
Now, Travis, you were a head coach in this era with the transfer portal. Talk about how, as a head coach, Kenny Brooks getting those players comfortable in his new system before the season.
Well, it's obviously become the norm to talk about newcomers every year at this point, whatever sport it is in college athletics. But it's always a challenge. It's important, you know, when you can have some returning players like he does have, to be able to teach the new players the culture, what it takes, the system. All that makes a difference, and Coach Brooks has that in this team and some returning players that can lead the way.
And we touched on two of them early on, two of the three triplets as they have been dubbed here in the Bluegrass. Amelia Hassett, Clara Strack, and Tiani Key. That trio combining for over 35 points per game and just over 25 rebounds. That's a nice foundation, Michaela, if you're this team.
That's a great foundation. That is some fine hardwood right there. But like you said, over 30 points per game, and it looks like over almost 20 rebounds. I mean, like I said, we have a three-headed monster right here in the Bluegrass, and like I said, I love it. Height, we all wish we had it. We have it here in Kentucky. I didn't have it when I played in Kentucky, but they have it here now, and I'm a fan of it.
And we touched on just the length overall, Travis. How important in today's game of college basketball is it to have length?
I think it's important for a couple of reasons. Defensively, it matters. Having great length to take away, especially Coach Brooks, watching his teams play, he likes to get in the gaps defensively. The bigger, the longer the arms, you know, the length really helps when you play in the gaps defensively. And then, you know, when you have size as a shooter, and this team can shoot it, and several of these girls have great size, it makes it easier to get your shot off when you have, you know, when you're 6 foot, 6'2", 6'3", and being defended by 5'7", 5'8", you know, it makes it a lot easier to get your shot off.
I mean, Michaela, this is the only public time that we're going to get to see this team play before non-conference happens. They've got some notable non-conference matchups upcoming. How do you use a night like this to begin to prepare you for some of the big games coming up this year?
Tonight's all about having fun, and I hope the ladies have fun tonight, first things first. And then also, like mentioned earlier, you know, a lot of these fans tonight might not be women's ticket season holders or ever seen a women's game live. So hopefully this draws some interest. And again, we're getting people involved in women's sports all across the board. College, WNBA, you know, women's sports are on the rise. So again, I love to see it packed in here tonight for the ladies and also the guys. But again, most importantly, the ladies are going first, so they get to see us first. And again, just drawing the interest and, you know, really just buying into what Historic Memorial is about and what Kenny Brooks is about and what the program's about.
Well, we had a big surprise yesterday for both of these programs. An international superstar made his way here to the Joe Kraft Center. Adam Sandler stopping by before his show on Thursday night. Last night here, had a chance to meet with the women's team. He apologized for breaking up their practice there, then stopped in, got a custom jersey from Mark Pope that he would then go on to wear on stage last evening here in Lexington. But I don't know about you guys. You never know who you're going to see here in Lexington.
I thought it was pretty cool when he stopped in, and you know, he took the time to meet with, I think he went and saw the swim team, the men and women's team, and I was in practice when he popped in, and then I left and went down the hallway and looked in, and Kevin James, the great comedian and actor, was in the weight room lifting weights. It was It was quite an afternoon yesterday.
I dare I call it a man of the people, and he's exactly like you would expect him to be.
He was great, yeah. Very, very polite, very outgoing to all the players. It was all the guys seemed to really, really enjoy it, and the women really enjoyed it.
Well, we teased it a moment ago, but Clara Strack set to join us now here at historic Memorial Coliseum, the reigning SEC Defensive Player of the Year. And Clara, this is a new look roster for you guys. A lot of different pieces for you to play with. What has you excited about this iteration of Kenny Brooks' second team?
I mean, I think just like building off of what we did last year and having like the core, like a core piece back, and then adding like fun players like Tony, Asia, things like that. I'm just super excited to see the way we're going to work together.
Claire, when I'm asking you, I want to know what is your 3 favorite opponents to play against in the SEC?
Probably Tennessee.
Okay.
South Carolina.
Okay.
And LSU.
3 great choices,
Yeah,
3 great
big
atmospheres.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, I enjoyed watching you guys practice yesterday. It was very impressive. You could tell you guys are going to have a great season, and enjoyed watching you play. But what I was really impressed with, and this from kind of a coaching perspective, Coach Brooks, when he would stop to correct, everyone stopped. Every single person, every eye was on him. I was just really impressed with practice and how he conducted practice. Tell us, what's it like playing for Coach Brooks?
I mean, I love it every day. I feel like I learn more. I learn new things every day. And like you said, I think he just brings a presence like to the gym and to the court where it's just like everyone knows, listen to him. And I think that's like the atmosphere like and the chemistry we like to have is like we're all bought in on him and bought in on his program, and we're just coming together to try to get it done.
Clara, your coach talks a lot about growing the women's game overall tonight. You guys are inside historic Memorial Coliseum. There's over 4,000 people in here to see the men, but also to see the women. How big of an opportunity is this for you and your teammates to kind of showcase the brand of basketball that you guys are going to play throughout the season?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's great. Obviously, like you said, there's a ton of people in here. And I think going into this season, we have people who doubt us, but I think this is a great way to show them like what we've been working on and like how we've been looking so far in practice. Just a little taste of it before the season comes.
Claire, I have another personal question. They picked y'all 8th. They dubbed this 8th, and you're my favorite player. I think you're a great player and stuff like that. So just want to see your mindset. I know rankings don't necessarily mean nothing, numbers mean nothing. So just wondering where your mentality is, the team's mentality is after seeing, picked 8th to finish in the SEC.
Yeah, I mean, like, respectfully, like, I don't think it really matters right now,
right.
Like, whatever the rankings are and whatever people think of us. I mean, instead of, like, trying to go out and prove others wrong, I think we're just trying to prove ourselves right and just have a base of, like, what we've been working on every day and just knowing ourselves that we can do more than that, so.
Well, Clara, thank you so much for your time. Have some fun out there tonight.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank
Have fun.
Well, that was the reigning SEC Defensive Player of the Year preseason second team all-conference, Clara Strack. We're taking a break. When we come back, the evening continues here inside historic Memorial Coliseum. And we are back in Lexington, gearing up for the women's scrimmage that'll take place in just a few short moments. But, Michaela, we went off air talking about a Kentucky team that we all believe is maybe a little bit underrated, and I think one of the reasons why is people have forgotten about Jordan Obi. This was a 3-time all-conference player at Penn, transfers over, hurts herself last year, unable to go. She's back and looking really healthy.
Yes, no, I love a good transfer, especially one that is built like that at the 2 spot. Jordan Obi is a great player, great size, and definitely I think people have forgot about her, slept on her, and I think she's definitely going to be our sneaky link prop that we need, and I'm excited to watch her play.
Travis, Michaela mentions that size, and having size at that 2-guard position, what does that do for the overall roster?
Yeah, that was one of the things I was most impressed with yesterday with the women's team. It's just the overall size. People normally think that's just inside. They have big guards. And at the 2-guard spot, she's not only tall, she's physical. She's got a great body, and there's, one thing you look for this time of year for somebody who's gone through injuries, is there any side effects, anything like that? I saw none yesterday. She looks like she's out to prove something after being hurt. Like you said, probably people forgot about her a little bit. She looks like she's ready to prove something.
And you can both speak to this, but the women's game has changed dramatically over the years. It's becoming a little bit more positionless, and as you just alluded to, Kenny Brooks has a lot of weapons that he can deploy in a number of different ways, Travis.
Yeah, I think, you know, pretty much at every level of basketball now it's becoming positionless. And especially with Coach Brooks' team here, with the size that we keep talking about, it's going to be easy for him to play a lot of different lineups and a lot of different positions. But again, this is a very talented basketball team. With anytime your best players are your returners, that's great in today's age of athletics. But they've added some really key transfers and some young players as well.
And speaking back on being positionless, Travis, being versatile, that is major in today's college game. So positionless, being able to be versatile, playing the 1 through the 5. You know, we see bigs bringing the ball up the court. You know, if you think NBA, you think Giannis dribbling the ball up the court. Very not normal to be seen. But again, even in the college women's game. So yes, being versatile and stuff like that. And I think Kentucky women's basketball has a lot of versatility.
Yeah, versatility. You're going to hear a lot of it with the women, but a whole lot with the men as well. That's going to be a very popular word when people see this men's team is versatility.
Well, I've buried the lead long enough. I'm sitting with two of the greatest point guards to ever play on the men's and the women's side here at the University of Kentucky. Toni Morgan coming in as the new point guard. Michaela, I'll start with you.
Okay.
She's going to be here just 1 year.
Right.
This is a big onboarding process for her, but she's really fitting in nicely. She's going to be different than Georgia Amoore, but it's not fair to compare the two.
Yes, no, definitely not going to compare the two because Georgia Amoore is Georgia Amoore and Toni Morgan is Toni Morgan. I'm excited for this Georgia Tech transfer. Again, I'm not opposed to transfers, especially a senior leader. So, you know, just bringing in her leadership, her knowledge, and she can play. You know, we brought her in Kentucky for that reason because she can play. So I'm very excited for her to be the captain of the ship this year.
Travis, put on your head coaching hat for me. You bring in a new point guard. You've got to get that player onboarded and ready to go for November 3rd. If you're Kenny Brooks, how are you going about that process?
Yeah, it's lucky that she's a veteran. So, you know, it's more about just teaching the system at this point. She knows how to play. I was impressed with her leadership yesterday. She's very vocal. When she plays, you can see she's making great decisions. And when you have good players around you as a point guard, it makes your job that much easier. You don't need to try to overdo it. And that's what I was impressed with yesterday. She didn't try to overdo it. She got the people the ball that needed the ball where they needed it.
And Michaela, your job as a point guard is to score, is to pass, but ultimately it's to be an elevator on this roster.
Absolutely, Noah. Be an elevator, and like I also be a general, be a captain of the ship. You know, steady the boat when the waves get rocky, when the adversity hits and stuff like that. So again, I think Toni Morgan's got that for us, and again, I'm excited to see her this season.
Last year, this team hosting an NCAA tournament game, make it actually 2 games here, and 12 records broken. Michaela, we got to see the great video that you voiced earlier on, but you get the sense that this is just the start of something special here at Kentucky.
Let me tell you, man, I'm going to keep saying it. I am a Kenny Brooks fan, a Kenny Brooks supporter. I believe in this man. I believe he was a great hire. Mitch Barnhart did a great job right there, and I just really believe, you know, he's got the right mentality, and he's a good leader, and he's going to be the one to get us there. So, you know, I hope people keep coming to Kentucky. Kentucky's now in the mix. We're getting the recruits and stuff like that. So, you know, with time, it'll come.
And Travis, you have coached teams that went from kind of maybe unexpected to a strong year, and then that next year suddenly you have a target on your back. How can this team prepare for that?
That's a different approach. You go from hunting to being the hunter. You know, everybody knows Kentucky basketball, women's basketball is back. Coach Brooks has brought an incredible amount of energy and a great culture to this program.
Yeah, well.
Rising star in the officiating business. When I first got to Kentucky, I saw her on the road. She gave me a big hug, and she was teaching me how it is to be a Wildcat. So let's give her a round of applause. Jada.
Well, certainly fun to have one of Kentucky's own back in the building. Jada Roper, the official. Michaela, you played with her. You've both taken different career paths. She does a little bit more exercising out on the floor.
Absolutely, and she looks phenomenal. She looks fit. She looks like she's in great shape, and I'm excited she's getting this opportunity tonight.
Well, let's kick this blue-white scrimmage off. The women will scrimmage the practice players that they spend so much time with throughout the season, and this isn't just your easy practice squad. There's a couple of former D3 hoopers, a scholarship hooper at the top of this formation. As Jordan Obi works downhill.
Just getting inside, you see the length for a guard, how she can get in with the step back. That's a major advantage when you have size.
I mean, look how big they are right now at the gate.
Early offensive rebound. The Cats unable to make something of it. First test to play in front of 4,000 fans here tonight, maybe for some of these players like Jordan Obi getting some of the nerves out after sitting for the last year. A long three on the way, and it's good over the outstretched Tiani Key.
Hey, I'll tell you now, some of these practice guys can play. At my 4-year tenure, I had many good battles. These guys can play.
The 5 out on the floor could very easily be the starting 5 for Kentucky women's basketball on November 3rd. Here's Tony Morgan, cuts to the 10 for 2. I think that's one area that Tony maybe brings to this team, Michaela. She has the ability to get downhill and splinter a defense.
Yes, and in the SEC, that is so important. I think SEC is the toughest league in the nation and stuff like that. So, you know, SEC Tony Morgan being able to get downhill strong to the basket, yes, that's beautiful.
Good drive and finish over Clara Strack. 5-2 blue team here in the early stages. They will play 2 halves, 10 minutes, running clock. If a foul were to take place, it would just be 1 shot from the free throw line. It would be worth 2 points. Here's Clara Strack, that patented turnaround. It won't go.
One thing's different when you have a team, the women's team playing against a practice squad, they can actually run their offense. Whereas when you see the men, they go against each other every day. They know each other's offense, and you know it's kind of hard to run your. But it's going to allow the women here to really work on their execution offensively.
A turnover here. Here's Tony Morgan in transition. Goes hard to the 10, 4 points in the early going. For 5, a strong start for her Cats debut.
Yeah, you won't see many shots challenged at the rim. Coaches, this is mostly for the fans.
Yes.
They don't want anyone getting hurt during this. This is an opportunity just to get under the lights and for the fans. So you'll see probably some of these guys getting out of the way.
Good contest there from Obi. Kentucky bringing it the other way quickly in transition. That was a staple last year. Here's Hassett. Will miss the 3, but another offensive rebound. A big part of Kenny Brooks' approach. Here's Strack, spins, throws it up, in and out. Michaela, you're going against the practice squad here tonight as a team. What can you get out of this?
You know, playing against guys, so the physicality, that was one of my biggest things that I loved when I was here. You know, just going against guys every day, it's different. The SEC is physical, it's tough. So, you know, playing against guys, they're physical, they're tough, you know, naturally born and built tough. So, you know, just that, they're fast. Guys are naturally faster than women. So, you know, you're just out there seeing stuff that you might not see. But, yes, if you get a rebound over one of these long guys, it makes you feel good. If you get a stop against one of these guys, it makes you feel good. You know, little interpersonal wins like that. But, you know, I just love the fact that that's what they do in women's college sports, that they allow us to practice against the guys. I do see the benefits of it.
And as we saw yesterday, they were playing a whole lot more aggressive than they are right now. They were getting very competitive yesterday.
Tiani Key finishes for 2 inside, and I think one of the things that maybe people aren't talking about enough is the amount of leadership this team lost. You think of what Georgia Amore brought in and Deja Lawrence. Players like Tiani Key, Clara Strack are going to need to step up in that leadership department, Michaela.
Absolutely, and then also Tony Morgan and Jordan Obi being our senior transfers, our graduate transfers and our transfer player, you know, our older players. You know, they're going to have to step up and be vocal. Tiani Key, Clara Strack, Amelia Hassett, our juniors and seniors, yes, everybody's going to have to step up and be vocal. Losing Amore and D-Law, I'm sure, has made the gym quiet in a sense, but we still have plenty of people out there that can be vocal and be leaders, and I hope they step up and do so.
Kentucky a little bit quiet from 3 here in the early stages. Tiani Key sizing up her man. Looking into the post. I think that's going to be a theme all year long.
I love that move. I love that move.
Clara Strack maybe could be a dark horse candidate for SEC Player of the Year.
You know, I was shocked. I was shocked when I saw the second team. I'm a big Clara Strack fan, though. I'm not trying to be biased.
You're allowed to be tonight. It's Kentucky versus Kentucky. Come on, Michaela.
Absolutely, okay.
And you're a Hall of Famer, right?
There you go.
Long 3, it goes.
He's picking up where he was yesterday. I don't think he missed yesterday as well.
Yeah, I saw him Big Blue Madness weekend. He was pretty locked in then, too.
That's Logan Taylor right there. He gave me a scouting report of his game. I think it is fun for these guys, too, to get a chance. So much of their work is done in private as we see Hassett drive and finish, but an opportunity for these guys to come out and play in front of these amount of people, something that most of these guys have never gotten to do.
I mean, and it's voluntary. They do it on their own will. You know, we post it, they host it, and, you know, the guys come out on their own will. They have a tryout, and then it goes from there. So, you know, some of these guys have obviously probably never played on a D1 court maybe, but they're getting that tonight under the lights with some great female players.
Yeah, and it's a commitment. I mean, they have
Yes.
to be here to practice every day, same time. It's a commitment. They're going to college just like everybody else, and it's a major asset to the program.
Well, 12-11 here early on. Media timeout on the floor. Tony Morgan's looked really nice early, Michaela.
Yes, I love it. I love a good point guard. Like I said, we're not trying to replace Georgia Amore, but I'm a big firm believer and supporter of the Tony Morgan train, and we're going to ride it.
Travis, we've seen a number of offensive rebounds out of this team here in the early going. How big is that for a team if you can get those?
Well, something we haven't talked about, but with the size, again, with the women's team, that's something you would hope you would lead in the SEC. Should be a great offensive rebounding team. You look at it, you know, especially when you've got, you know, ladies that can shoot the ball the way they do, you know, it's going to leave a lot of long rebounds, and size gets a lot of long rebounds. You know, Hassett's missed a couple of shots here, but she's a type shooter that you think it's going in every single time. You're surprised when she misses. It is such a pure shot.
55 three-point field goals a year ago for Amelia Hassett in her first year in the blue and white, third most on this team. Some wholesale substitutions here. Clara Strack staying on the floor alongside Tony Morgan, but our first look at Kaylin Carroll, number 20, highest ranked recruit in the Kenny Brooks era. Asia Boone, the transfer from Liberty. Josie Gilvin, the Western Kentucky kid. Here's Clara Strack from the free throw line. It won't go. Battle for the basketball, and the blue team comes down with it.
Yeah, you talk about Kaylin Carroll, McDonald's All-American. When you start getting those type players, it's, you know, you've obviously established yourself pretty quick.
Absolutely. You know, in Kentucky, we keep a couple McDonald's All-Americans. You know, my freshman year, we had 7. And then I was like, wow, we're loaded. You know, a couple of them McDonald's All-Americans, a couple of them Gyms, yes, it's good to have.
Call that a Happy Meal right there, right?
Yeah.
Foul underneath, so that will put blue team at the free throw line. Again, they will take just one shot. A make would give them 2 points here. Trailing by 1 in the early stages. Tony Morgan and Clara Strack each with 4 apiece. And the free throw comes up short. Michaela, you're some of these new players maybe playing on this floor for the first time in front of fans. What are they feeling right now?
They're definitely feeling some jitters. You know, Kentucky's just different, man. It's a different energy. It's a different level. You know, like I said, Asia Boone at Liberty, Tony Morgan at Georgia Tech. I'm sure they had crowds and stuff like that, but when it gets to rocking in here, 6,000 to 8,000 blue and white behind you, they're going to feel it through their feet.
Hey, it's the SEC. It just means a little more, right?
It definitely means a little more.
Some great ball movement here for the blue team. Driving on Clara Strack, and she blocks it.
Not going to happen.
Set a single season record in blocks a year ago. Here's Boone in transition. Can't hit the 3, and the basket has been unfriendly to the Cats. Let's see if Carroll can change that. Can't.
Old boards, all over them old boards.
And that's something I think Josie Gilvin's really going to bring to this team. She is all over the court. Had a triple-double in a game last year.
She's a hustle player. She's a Kentucky kid.
There's Morgan sizing up her defender. Blows by and finishes. That's going to be, I think, a different dimension, Travis, to this Kentucky offense this year.
Yeah, you look at, you know, she's replacing a prolific scorer, one of the all-time greats. She, as we've mentioned, she's going to do it differently, but she's going to make her impact. You see her every point so far has been going to the rim, putting the ball on the floor, again, using her size.
Quick pull over Strack there, couldn't get her hands up in time as the blue team gets back within 1 with just over 2 minutes to go in this first half. They put Clara Strack in the pick and roll, and she'll take advantage.
Nice little stop and pop there in mid-range. That's what I love about them. They're long, they're big, and they can knock down shots.
And a foul here on Tony Morgan. That was just to get her teammates back in. Unselfish play. You can get away with it in a blue-white scrimmage as the clock continues to run. I'm on the record with calling Clara Strack a unicorn. And Michaela, you look at plays like that a moment ago. That's not what you typically see from a 5 in the game of women's basketball.
It's simply not. You know, they like the low. They used to normally like the low block, low post, stay down there below the SEC logo. But I'm telling you, when these girls, especially on the Kentucky team, can stretch the floor, can open it up, you know, really shoot it.
He can shoot it. Airballed the 3 that time, though, and you can hear the fans give it to him a little bit. Here's Lexi Blue hoping for a big sophomore year. Asia Boone gets downhill, wide open. Josie Gilvin, she'll hit the first 3 of the night.
Kentucky kid.
Her mom played at Louisville. She goes to Western Kentucky for her first 3 years, and she knew where to come after that, right?
I'm telling you, when I came in Big Blue Madness weekend, my Hall of Fame weekend, actually, I came to town. I asked him, I said, where's the Kentucky kid at? I got to find the Kentucky kid. Do we got one?
Asia Boone, primarily a shooting guard at Liberty the last 2 seasons, being asked to run the point is KK Carroll.
Back to back.
Hits the 3, and Kentucky's starting to get hot from downtown.
Shooters with size. It just gets it off quickly. Ran a little pick and pop out top. It's she's going to be good. She's going to be really, really good.
And what's even scarier is what's on the court right now is not 3 of the starters, and all 5 players on the court right now for us can shoot the 3.
6 seconds left. Shot clock
Oh,
off.
yeah, good D, good D.
White up by 7. Boone affects the shot, but the bank is open. Wow. What a way to end this first half. 22-17 in favor of Whites after 1 half in the blue-white. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, the second half coming up. Back inside historic Memorial Coliseum as we get set for this second half, maybe second quarter of this blue-white scrimmage here. It's the white team, the Kentucky Wildcats, out to a 5-point edge. Starters back on the floor for the Cats. Here's the drive from Jordan Obi, and that's the power that we were talking about that she brings to the floor.
Yeah, she's just 6'1" at a great size at the 2 spot, agile, able to put the ball on the floor. That's an SEC body type right there. I'm excited to see it.
And Travis, I think one of the things that stood out in that first half of this game was the versatility on this roster and how Kenny Brooks can deploy it in so many different ways.
Yeah, they scored 22 points in 10 minutes, which is a lot with only making 1 or 2 threes. Right. And they're, normally they're going to make more than they did in that first quarter. So yeah, they've got an opportunity to score from a lot of different positions, inside and out, which makes it for a very dangerous offensive team.
A miss there from Clara Strack behind the three-point line. She did not shoot a ton of those threes last year, but she's really been emboldened by this coaching staff to shoot those in games, continue to work on it, Michaela, because you know as well as I do, if she wants to play in the W, she's going to have to improve that three-point shot.
She's definitely going to have to improve that shot, and she's going to have to knock it down. She's the same size as, say, like a Brianna Stewart. Great, size comparison-wise, So, yes, especially in the dub, and the line is a little bit further back also. So, I hope she gets it. I hope she gets in the gym and she extends that range and ups that percentage, and, I know she will.
Look at Kentucky push
There
the basketball wide open. Hassett. He's been stone cold so far tonight. Blue team trailing by 7. They gave the white team a pretty nice fight in that opening half.
Now they got tired. The boys are tired. That's how it goes.
You can see it.
The boys get
they're not moving and cutting quite as fast as they were earlier.
They don't have to sprint in practice like the ladies do, so they don't get that cardio part in.
That's a nice finish in the paint right there from 21 in blue. And they're not doing those 17s, right?
Yeah, nope.
Or those 33s.
They're clapping for you on the sideline.
Yeah, no preseason conditioning.
Tony Morgan draws the contact and finishes.
She's going to be good. She's going to fit right in.
It's kind of like us. We didn't go through preseason conditioning, did we, guys?
No, I've had my time.
Me too, Travis.
I don't get back there.
7-point white edge. Great look right there from the free throw line. An easy 2 for blue. Back within 5. See Tony Morgan immediately looking over to the bench there, looking for the play to be called. Such a unique relationship between point guard and head coach, and particularly a head coach who used to be a point guard at James Madison back in the day. There's Jordan Obi, wide open for 3. Comes up short. I don't know, guys. Feels like an NBA game in here with the music being played while they're playing, right?
Yes, I love it.
Hassett playing some tight defense. It doesn't matter.
Guys make tough shots. Tough shots.
Makes you better.
Absolutely.
Looking inside, here's Tiani Key. It'll go. I think she could be one of the true breakout stars this year for Kentucky if they're able to accomplish some of the goals they hope to accomplish.
Yes, not a dark horse, but another name that you don't really, I feel like gets her credit, gets her flowers, but I'm here to give them to her tonight. I definitely think that she will be a valuable piece in this Kentucky program.
A lot of people forget she was a top 10 recruit in the country coming out of high school.
Absolutely.
As the tough two is pulled. Obi with the rebound. Travis, what's impressing you about the flow of this offense so far?
Well, they're slowing the game down a little bit and running a lot of sets. I think he's doing that on purpose just to work on a few things, to work on execution, work on timing, trying to implement, new point guard with another player that was injured last year, but working a lot of execution right now. These drives to the basket, they could probably do this almost every single time down the court, but they're trying to get a little bit more ball movement just to work on their timing and their execution.
That last basket for Toni Morgan, giving her double figures in this game with 10 already. Good shot fake there. We'll get a foul inside on Tiani Key. And that brings us to an interesting point, because when you think about Kentucky inside, as we see Toni Morgan drive and finish right there, but Michaela, when you look at this roster, because of the size overall, you can kind of absorb some foul trouble if it were to happen during the year.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Don't let nothing go easy. But like you said, very, very depth. Got a bench. We do have a bench. We do have size. So if one of our bigs go out with foul trouble, we're likely to replace them with 2 or 3 more. And that's a different look for Kentucky women's basketball.
Another foul inside. 4 new players on the floor right now for White. First look at Gabby Brooks, 11 in White this year. And we will get our first time out of this second half. 30-23, White over Blue. Haven't touched on her a ton yet. We briefly did, but Kaylin Carroll, I think, could play a massive role for this year. Travis, you already touched on her ability to shoot the 3 at that 4 position, really become that true stretch 4, I think could be huge for Kentucky.
It's a dangerous weapon when you can have a stretch 4 that can step out and shoot it, slip ball screens, pick and pop, and they've got several players that can do that.
White team up by 7 here.
What's up, man?
Just under 5 minutes
What's up?
to go. Kenny Brooks set to join us on set here at this blue-white scrimmage. And Coach, your team leading by 7 here early on. Talk about some things that maybe you've been pleased with here.
Well, first and foremost, the camera's not on us, but it's like a legend Oreo right here, Kentucky legend Oreo right here. I'm sandwiched between two of the greatest to ever do it. So. But Coach, as well, it's an opportunity for the fans to get to see the kids run up and down a little bit. We're not going to show a whole lot. We're getting out there. I think we have the best practice squad in the country, because those guys hit tough shots.
I said the same. They didn't miss yesterday.
No, they don't.
They never miss.
Trav, they haven't missed all year, and
that gets deflating a little bit.
I can't tell if we have good defense and we need to work on our defense, but it's very, very tough shots. So, but you know what? Those guys come out and they do a tremendous job for us and making us better. And if we can guard them, we feel like we can guard anybody in the country.
And I mentioned that earlier on the broadcast, Coach. The practice guys and how vital and how important they are to the program and stuff like that, and how we appreciate them.
These guys are dedicated. We got a couple of them out there that they want to be coaches, and they come to practice every day in the summertime, 6-8 hours, helping us watch with the girls or an individual. So they're definitely dedicated, and we really appreciate them.
Coach, you were down in Birmingham earlier this week at SEC Media Days. One of the things you said on the podium was kind of your desire to continue to grow and steward this women's game. How big is it for your team to get to play in front of all of these fans here tonight, some that might be here to see the men that you guys have a chance to convert?
This is Kentucky, and when I got here, I said I wanted to make it Kentucky basketball, because we want to go off of what at the traditions that the men's program has done for a very, very long time. And I said it, this is a sleeping giant, so we want to give it an opportunity and let our girls come out here and play, and we feel like that we can build something extremely special here.
Coach, first of all, thank you for the energy and everything you're doing for the women's team here. It's amazing, and revitalizing the program. And I have followed you quite a bit since you've gotten here. Talk a little bit about how important it is in the day of the portals and the day of all that to have your best players returning, 3 great players returning and adding to that. How important is that in building this team in particular? Because every time now you're building year by year pretty much.
Yeah, it is. And you know what? We want to go out. We want to make this thing relationship based, and it's not. We don't want it to be transactional. And case in point, we've got an exceptional 2026 class coming in, and we want to build the foundation with our freshmen. And we want to do it for our program, but we also want to do it for the fans. We want the fans to be able to grow with these kids. You know, watch them as freshmen, and then as they go out and they become seniors, you felt like you've been a part of their growth and their development. And that's what college athletics is about. And, you know, we've gotten off of the track a little bit, but nevertheless, I mean, we have an opportunity to go out here and showcase and help Kentucky women's basketball grow a tradition.
Well, I think it's a testament to you that these ladies did return, because we all know they could have went places, and there's no, you know, but that's a testament to you and the relationships that you're building with your players, because you're exactly right. It's become such a transactional, you know, system that when you can develop a relationship where people want to be a part of something, no matter if anybody else is approaching, that's how you build, and that's what you're doing.
You know, Travis, we got kids out there that could have gone somewhere else for, you know, I hate to say it, but more money, more opportunities, and they didn't even think about it. When I had end-of-the-year meetings with those kids who probably could have gone somewhere else and gotten a bigger, you know, NIL deal, it was a 5-minute conversation. They love Kentucky. Yeah. Some of them come here and they just absolutely love putting on the blue. They love Big Blue Nation, and they love everything about this whole situation.
They love Kentucky. They love Kentucky basketball, but most important, they love you. Well, so that's why they stayed. I can tell you that.
You know, they're all like my daughters. Yeah. You know, we bought a new house this year. I mean, it has a pool. And that gate was just, it was like a swinging gate. They were at the end of the house, and my wife loves the opportunity, and we want to make it in there. Yeah, the girl.
Kenny, you've been incredibly.
We want to make sure we build a family-type atmosphere here.
Well, you've been incredibly gracious with your time. Just time for one more question here. You guys make it to the second round of the NCAA tournament. When you think of Kentucky and you talk about it being a sleeping giant, what's the ceiling for what this program could be in the future?
You know what? We can be as good as BBN wants us to be. And you can't do it by yourself. You have to have the backing of the fan support, the support. You know, we went into the transfer portal, and we got some high-class transfers, and it was because the opportunity to grow their brand, because of the brand. And we want to continue this, you know, and we want to grow and grow and grow, and we feel like we can do that. And that's why I came here. You know, I could have stayed where I was, but this was a tremendous opportunity for me. And we won't stop until we fight and we get to the point where we're hanging banners like the men did.
Well, Coach, appreciate your time. We'll let you get back to your team.
All right, guys. Appreciate you guys. You guys are awesome.
Good luck.
Well, that was Kenny Brooks, who will begin his second year at the helm of this Wildcats program on November 3rd when Morehead State comes to town. And Michaela, I got to imagine as an alum of this program, getting to talk to him, seeing what he has been able to do to reinvigorate this program, it makes you pretty proud.
I'm definitely proud. I'm proud to be an alumni of Kentucky, you know, and I'm proud, you know, like, yes, to wear the blue and white, to be all the things, and to still be a part of all the things. You know, I feel like Historic Memorial Coliseum is going to be in good hands for plenty of years to come with Kenny Brooks, and I'm just so excited to see the program grow, the people grow, and, you know, the state of Kentucky grow on the men's, women's side again.
Well, the 9th offensive rebound of this contest there for Kentucky gives Clara Strack double figures in this scrimmage. Winding down here, maybe time for one final three here for the blue team, giving a valiant effort this evening. Curry range, and comes up wanting. And tonight it will be white on top. Kentucky in their first look of the 25-26 season comes out on top here in historic Memorial Coliseum. Well, we're taking a quick break. When we come back, the evening continues. The men are taking the floor here inside the HMC. Well, a great start to the evening so far. Big Blue Nation has made their way out here to historic Memorial Coliseum, and they are getting set to meet the Kentucky men's basketball team.
Across your chest, people look at you differently.
You set your goal high and be willing to make the sacrifices that you could only make if you were a champion.
But I still haven't found what I'm looking for.
Want to bring a lot of joy to people in the house.
put that jersey on.
Big Blue Nation, get on your feet and make some noise. Let's meet your 2025-26 Kentucky Wildcats. A 6'3" senior from Austin, Texas, number 11, Walker Horn. A 6'5" junior from Madisonville, Kentucky, number 20, Zach Tao. A 6'8" freshman from Beckley, West Virginia, number 22, Braden Hawthorne. A 7-foot freshman from Georgetown, Kentucky, number 24, Malachi Marino. A 6'5" freshman from Lexington, Kentucky, number 2, Jasper Johnson. A 6'11" sophomore from Zagreb, Croatia, number 4, Andrea Jelavic. A 6'8" sophomore from Lafayette, Louisiana, number 3, Cam Williams. A 6'10.5" sophomore from Cleveland, Ohio, number 21, Jaden Quaintance. A 6'5" sophomore from Farmington, Utah, number 5, Colin Chandler. A 6'5" sophomore from Harlan, Kentucky, number 9, Trent Noah. A 7'1" junior from Lexington, Kentucky, number 33, Reese Potter. A 6'7" junior from Queens, New York, number 23, Mohamed Diabate. A 6 1/2" junior from Missouri City, Texas, number 15, Jalen Lowe. A 6'10" junior from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, number 10, Brandon Garrison. A 6'5" senior from Orlando, Florida, number 1, Denzel Aberdeen. And a 6'4" senior from Newark, New Jersey, Double O, Otega Owe. And the head coach of Kentucky, Mark Pope. One more time for your 2025-26 Kentucky men's basketball team.
That kid got 3
Your
shirts.
latest Kentucky basketball team has made their entrance into historic Memorial Coliseum. Mark Pope's team is ready. When we come back, the blue-white scrimmage takes place here inside historic Memorial Coliseum. The energy continuing to build here inside historic Memorial Coliseum as we get set for the blue-white scrimmage. Mark Pope just getting done adjusting the crowd here, and we get a look at the AP Top 10 where Kentucky checks in at number 9. But Travis, I gotta say, that's kind of the expectation around here, right?
Yeah, without question, without question. Preseason polls are all about, it's based on paper. Nobody's proven anything yet, but on paper, obviously. And if you had a healthy Jaden Quinnitz right now, they'd probably be top 3 preseason. He's that good. When he gets healthy, he brings a whole different dimension. But yeah, it's to be expected to be top 10, top 20 when you're at Kentucky.
So blue versus white here. First real true look at this Kentucky team. You got to see him at Pro Day, Big Blue Madness last weekend, but it's gonna be fun to see these guys go up and down, and we've heard about the aggressiveness and how much they love to go at it, the competitiveness. That's gonna be on full display tonight, Michaela.
I'm calling the blue team winning early. They got the 3 Kentucky boys on the same team, and I'm going to ride with the blue team tonight just by first glance. But again, I'm eager to see it. I'm excited to see it. We got some new guys, some new faces, but at the end of the day, it's still Kentucky basketball, so I'm excited.
Prediction for you, Travis?
I'll go white. We'll see what happens.
Let's
But
see
you're going to see, they've been really playing fast. I think you're going to see both teams getting up and down the court. Denzel Aberdeen's going to be the point guard on the blue, and obviously Jalen Lowe's the point guard on the white.
And an early turnover here for white. Will give it to blue. And just to put a bow on both of your predictions, are both teams still going to be blue and white by the end of the night?
Absolutely.
First look at Malachi Moreno, the freshman. Here's Otega Owe, misses the bunny inside.
Look at Brandon Garrison running the floor.
With Owe's physicality, look to him be posting up a little bit more than he did last year. It's going to be a weapon that they can utilize.
There's Jalen Lowe, drives, draws the contact. The runner will not go. Jalen Lowe transferring over from Pittsburgh. He was their leading scorer a year ago, over 16 points per game. He'll be at the free throw line.
He's great at getting in the paint. Shot 166 free throws last year, so he has a knack for getting fouled. But that's a scorer's mentality. Scorers like a James Harden type, they know how to get to the free throw line, and he can score from the free throw line, at the rim, from the three-point line, just a really high-level elite scorer.
And I'm sitting with 2 point guards that love to score the rock back in the day, right?
Oh, yeah, especially me. I don't know about Travis, but I did.
She's probably a little bit better scorer than I was. I tried to set people up first, and then if you left me open, I'd probably knock it down.
Alongside the UK greats, Michaela Epps and Travis Ford, I'm Noah Frary. Otega Owe, he has missed a large part of fall camp with turf toe, back in healthy, and there's Trent Noah, knocks down the first 3 of this game.
Talking a little stuff to his teammates over there on the bench.
I think there'll be quite a bit of that here tonight. And an offensive foul going against White here.
That's an example of knowing exactly what your team, you know the other team's offense so well. You know exactly where they're trying to cut.
I think it's fair to say that Trent Noah could be the most improved player on this Kentucky roster this year. Here's the freshman, Jasper Johnson, turns. It will not go down, but Moreno with the offensive rebound and the putback.
Malachi Moreno's a young big man that the coaches are very, very high on. Great footwork, great hands. Obviously got incredible size, is willing to learn, is really a sponge.
7 foot tall at 17, 18 years old is special.
Well, you got to throw that ball a little bit higher over there as Diabate goes to the floor. Foul called from behind. Guys, we just had a chance to see the women come out in scrimmage. Travis, I'll start with you. What can the men get from this experience tonight?
Well, again, the main thing is this is for the fans. From a coaching perspective, it's the most you're going to get out of this is you're just getting under the lights, getting in front of fans. They're not going to get that much out of what they're doing here. Very similar to, this is, not even what they would probably get out of a real practice. But they're getting in under the lights, getting execution, competing with something, with a score. Don't think for a minute they don't know who's the score is and they want to win. But this is, again, this is for the fans.
Garrison with a tough finish inside. Right now, blue team with a 1 point edge. The runner there for Williams. And now Johnson with the finish.
Jasper Johnson's playing the point actually now for the blue, but you'll see him bring it up the right side of the court so he can get to that left hand. Every single time he's bringing it up right side.
Low down amongst the trees. He's fouled. Trent Noah was ready to go the other way.
I love that Trent Noah wears the number 9.
It's a good number.
It's a good number, and it means something around here.
Travis, you see Brandon Garrison finishing that too. How important is he going to be for this team this season?
Well, extremely important. You don't like to talk too much about last season, but if you look at last season's success, Amari Williams was such a big part of that because the way Kentucky runs their offense, they run it through the 5-man at the top of the key. So the 5-man gets more touches than most teams do, so he's got to be able to handle the ball. One thing that's interesting, Coach Pope had mentioned to us, right now through all their practice, he leads the team in assists. And that's kind of what you would want because he handles the ball as much as the point guard does. But you need a great year from Brandon Garrison. It's going to be very, very important.
Certainly some big shoes to fill. Amari Williams was so good at running that spot a season ago.
And you'll see this a lot. The 5-man, the center, will have the ball in his hands quite a bit, initiating the offense.
Step back for Cam Williams was deflected. Blue pushing it the other way. Johnson wide open for 3. Bingo! It's the sweet shooting stroke of Jasper Johnson. Averaged over 20 points per game on the overtime elite cycle last season.
I love Jasper Johnson's game, man. And again, he's a hometown native and he's a lefty. That's very tough. And again, playing on that OTE circuit, that's big time high school boys basketball there. So, I definitely think that put him in a great position coming into Kentucky.
It's a bit different than it's been in the past for this Kentucky team. Normally, you've seen a lot of freshmen get opportunities, but Travis, I think it's going to be harder for freshmen to crack the lineup this season.
Yeah, this makeup of this team is the exact opposite of last year's team. Last year's team was everybody was old, mostly experienced. This is a relatively very young basketball team. But a big thing, we're going to talk to Coach Pope later, but you know, last year again, at this point in time, you had 13 players who had never played together, never played for Coach Pope, all new players. When you've got guys returning like Oweh, like Trent Noah, like Brandon Garrison, Chandler, these guys are setting the culture for everybody else and teaching these younger players what this is all about.
Denzel Aberdeen hitting both free throws, the transfer from Florida. He was on the floor when the final whistle of the 2025 season rang out. On that national championship team for Florida, now changing jerseys.
And I think that's big. I think that's big, Noah. You know, we got 2 guys, SEC caliber guys, transfer guys, and I don't know how to pronounce their names.
Diabate.
Yeah, I'm not going to slaughter that, but yes, him from Alabama and kid from Florida, you know, and that's great. It's great to have.
Michaela's exactly right. Bringing in transfers that are used to winning, but also used to winning in your league, I think is huge.
Oh, the snatch for Aberdeen.
Nice move.
And it won't go in. That hit about every part of the rim. You're supposed to get those type of hometown rolls, right?
Yes.
Here's Lowe driving in amongst the trees. Oh, great find as Potter slams it home.
And that's what you're going to need to see out of Jalen Lowe. He can score, and he's going to score. He's a great basketball player, but he's got great vision, great feel for the game, and he's probably playing with the best players he's ever played with. I'm expecting him to have just he was an all-ACC player, but even more of a breakout year. This is going to be a great system for Jalen Lowe to showcase all his talents.
My first look at him, he reminds me a little bit of Tyler Ulis just because of the size. Just because of the size. I think he can shoot it a little bit better than Tyler can, but just because of his size and his shiftiness, I like him.
Oweh back on the floor. Poles can't hit. White trying to stage a comeback right here. Brandon Garrison back into the game, draws the double team.
Score, Reese. Good.
And a nice finish there for Reese Potter, an early 4 points for the Lexington kid that transferred over from Miami of Ohio. Here's a wide open Aberdeen. And an offensive foul going to go against Oweh.
One of the things Coach Pope likes about this team is the versatility, the mobility of this team. A lot of players can play a lot of different positions. A little bit different than last year. You're a lot deeper, I think, than we were last year.
Low inside up over Yelovich. Yelovich had stepped out of bounds, had not reestablished his position before grabbing that rebound. And that will take us to a media break here in Lexington. Blue staked to a 4-point edge. White scratching their heads a little bit. Back inside historic Memorial Coliseum as we get set for the blue-white scrimmage to continue. But first, a look at the SEC preseason poll where Kentucky checks in at second, only behind Florida, the defending national champions. But Travis, the word around Lexington is there's an assignment that they're trying to complete this year.
Yeah, you know, this is, looking at the poll of the SEC, it was the Premier League last year. It's not changing. It's going to be the Premier League again. And you're going to have 12, 13 teams in the NCAA tournament most likely. But I think, you know, Coach Pope, I think, feels good about this team to take that next step. They're talented. I think it's going to take a little bit of time to continue to develop the chemistry amongst these guys. Get acquaintance healthy is going to be a big key. But, yeah, I think this team is going to take that next step because I think they've improved, got deeper roster-wise.
An SEC record, 14 teams making the NCAA tournament a year ago. Mark Pope's Kentucky Wildcats, one of them getting to that Sweet 16 round for the first time since 2019. They'll look to build on that here in year two of this Mark Pope era. And based on what we've seen here early on, there's no reason to believe that this team cannot live up to the lofty expectations.
Yeah, there's a lot of talent out there, no question. You got the preseason player of the year in the SEC and Oweh returning. He's been a little banged up, but he's back healthy. You know, so yeah, the expectations are expected based on the players you've brought in and based on the players that are returning.
And this Kentucky team going to get tested early on in the season. It starts next week in exhibition play against what many believe is the #1 team in the nation in Purdue, but matchups on the road at Louisville. You've got a matchup up at Madison Square Garden with Michigan State, and down the road, December 20th, your former head coach, Rick Pitino.
Yeah, the
St.
schedule,
John's in Catalana, right?
The schedule's a beast, no question. It's a big-time schedule.
Oh, nice pull there from Jalen Lowe. You were mentioning during the break just how comfortable he looks in this offense right now.
Yeah, he's so good off the dribble. That's, what he's going to have to get used to is playing off the ball a little bit more, cutting. Coach Pope's system is a lot of cutting, based around cutting.
Andrea Jelavic reining in the 3. Comes over from Croatia. A nice opening salvo at Big Blue Madness, making the 3-point competition final. Here's Colin Chandler, won the dunk contest, comes up short on the 3. Ortega Owe, we're not sure how much we would see him tonight, but a pretty dime there as Marino finishes at the rim.
Marino has a good understanding of the game. Like you said, great hands, finishes around the rim. Yesterday in practice, he probably had 4 or 5 dunks. Really had a good summer. Really got bigger, stronger.
Braden Hawthorne walled up inside, finds Garrison. He spins on Jelavic. Can't finish at the rim, and a strong rebound from Moreno. Up ahead, Trent Noah hit a 3 earlier. This one won't go down.
Passed up a good one, took a little bit tougher one.
There's that 5 running the floor, Brandon Garrison. Low inside scoop shot, comes up short. 7-point edge here for Blue. Jelavic thinking about another 3. This time
7-1
off the front iron.
shooting the 3. I love how the game has changed.
And I think that's a perfect example because we talked about Mo Diabate and what he can bring at the 4. Jelavic also going to play that same position. 2 totally different players.
Diabate's a guy they talk about, they think could be one of the best defenders in this league. Also a player that can play multiple positions.
He's got great size, and again, he's a SEC transfer, so absolutely.
Garrison couldn't hit the 3 as the shot clock expires, but an offensive rebound. Here's Lowe from way downtown. 3 for 15 and White. White back within 4.
Jalen Lowe has that range. When he's open, he's got great form. When he's open, it's going to go in. You look at his percentages in the past, and it's based on taking a lot of tough shots. That's what kind of was expected of him at Pitt. He had probably a lot more freedom and needed to take more shots, but the better shots, the higher percentage. And this offense, again, is going to be great for Jalen Lowe because it's going to showcase a lot of his skills. It's going to be able to put him in position that he's not going to have a lot of pressure on him to create maybe as much as he's had to in the past.
And Jalen Lowe, one of a number of dynamic transfers coming in. We mentioned Denzel Aberdeen earlier, Mo Diabate, and others. This was the #2 ranked transfer class in the country, and we haven't even talked about Jaden Quaintance, who's not out on the floor tonight, but could very easily be a top 10 pick in the NBA draft this year.
Absolutely. You look at his numbers, his stats that he put up last year when he was healthy. It was incredible for a freshman at Arizona State. He is a physical specimen. He has just got an incredible body. He brings a whole nother dimension to this team. He's going to step in when he gets healthy and make an immediate impact.
Speaking of Quaintance, this time last year there was an exhibition game between Arizona State and Duke. Cooper Flagg was there, and Jaden Quaintance did a really nice job locking down the eventual #1 pick in the NBA draft as Jelavic takes the long 3, banks it home, and Blues over 20.
That's 2 for the big fella.
Just how you draw it up. Banked from the top of the key.
White now searching for the answer. Lowe loses it. Here comes Jasper Johnson pushing the pace. Bullet pass, extra pass. Noah watches the defender fly by and hits the 3. Blues red hot right now.
I love it.
Great extra pass. That pass Malachi Marino made from inside to out is something they work on. You see it, and that just shows obviously Marino's feel for the game.
That made your coaching heart feel happy right there, didn't it, Travis?
It's fun to watch.
Blue team heating up also with 5 threes this first half.
Oh, showtime! It's Aberdeen! What's Blue doing well right now?
And they're playing a lot harder. They've got a lot more energy.
Yep.
You're making it hard. Their defense is making it hard for the Whites offense, shooting the gaps. You know, one area Coach Pope talked to us about today is he thinks they've improved defensively. Aberdeen being one of those guys that has long arms, quick, athletic, and an emphasis has been in the offseason is to get better defensively, and I think they've done that.
Blue right now on the midst of a 13-3 run over the last 3 minutes and change to build this lead to 12. Blue's doing well. If you're White, Michaela, what are some adjustments that you can make?
Got to take care of the ball. Got 5 turnovers. Got to take care of the ball a little bit better, stuff like that. So, just rebounding the ball. And then, like Travis said, Blue's playing with a little bit more grit, a little bit more energy, a little bit more hustle. So maybe White right here out of this timeout will show us something.
Well, I'm glad I picked the Blue team and Michaela took the White team. What?
I picked Blue, Travis picked White.
Just wait till they switch jerseys. Otega-Oweh all smiles. Had been dealing with a turf toe injury that's kept him out for most of the lead up to this season. Came back, started to practice this week. Preseason SEC Player of the Year. You have to imagine if Kentucky wants to accomplish some of these lofty goals, Double O is going to be the one who leads the charge.
No question. There's a reason he came back. And one of those reasons is to be one of the best players in the country, which he will be. I think between Oweh and Jalen Lowe, that's one of the most prolific scoring backcourts in the country. You look at what they've averaged in the past and what they can do, that is a just powerful backcourt. Then you've got all these other guys that, they've got a lot of guards that are going to need minutes. And I think Coach Pope will use that. There'll be a lot of rotations.
And that really is in stark contrast to how Kentucky ended the season last year with injuries as Garrison forces the steal. White running in transition. Chandler's three won't go. Gets the offensive rebound. Drives on Oweh. Fouled. And will head to the free throw line. And Oweh frustrated at the call.
Yeah, again, a little sloppy. But, one thing, you always see this time of year. The team's been going against each other since this summer. They're ready to go against somebody else. They're tired. They're competing out here and playing, but they all know each other's moves. They know the plays. You're kind of tired of competing against each other, and it can get sloppy. But they're going to be excited to go against Purdue next week, just to be able to go against someone else.
Someone in a different color jersey,
Someone in a different color jersey.
Colin Chandler's second free throw goes. White trying to claw their way back in. Late in this first quarter, we were told we would play at least 2 10-minute quarters. Mark Pope teased a third when he was on the mic earlier. Here's Marino inside. Garrison says no. Two guys who've been going head-to-head against each other all preseason.
And I love that battle between a vet and a rookie. A rookie and a vet. It's only going to make Marino better.
Absolutely. I think they're making each other better.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Here's Blue with numbers running the floor. Oweh draws the contact. And we'll head to the charity stripe.
That's what we saw so much of last year from Oweh. He was so good getting to the rim and ones, using his physical body. And he shot 36% from three. He's a 36% three-point shooter for his career. And been living in the gym. He may be able to get up in the 40s from the three-point line.
Hey, just ask Oklahoma fans about Otega-Oweh at the rim, right?
Yeah.
He's at the free throw line here. His team up by 11. He'll hit the first. Otega-Oweh, the SEC preseason player of the year this year. He had entered his name into the NBA draft last season, chooses to withdraw on May 28th, and Mark Pope has said on multiple occasions he had quite the smile on his face when he found out he was going to have 0-0 back this season.
He wasn't the only one smiling. I was at the house smiling too.
There's a lot of fans in here smiling as well.
There's a lot of people refreshing Twitter, hoping KSR would post some news, right?
Yeah.
Here's the three. And a whistle goes against White. Blue gets the basketball. Situation right here, 3.6 left in this opening quarter. Blue trying to get a shot off. Johnson across midcourt, takes it! And oh, that was close. But a dominant first quarter here for Blue finds themselves up by 12. Otega Oweh, looking like Otega Oweh of old. Back inside historic Memorial Coliseum, where we just got some breaking news. This one's going to end in an Elam ending, first to 34. Decides a winner right now. Blue has a distinct advantage over White. And a big reason why was the three-point shooting for Blue, 5 of 8. Noah got involved, Yelovich got involved. They were shooting the rock in that first quarter.
Yeah, you know, there's been a lot of talk about their three-point shooting. You know, on paper, some people may say, hey, it may not supposed to be as good a shooting team as last year. I like this team's three-point shooting ability. There's a lot of guys on this roster that can shoot it and shoot it with range. So yeah, you know, three-point shot obviously is a difference maker.
Trent Noah with a couple of threes in that first period. And you touched on it. You lose a guy like Kobe Brea, who was arguably the best shooter in college basketball last year. He's now doing it in the NBA with the Phoenix Suns. But there's a lot of pieces here that can shoot the rock. And if you look at the Noah scores inside the practice gym, there's a lot of guys who can knock down a three-point shot.
Yeah, from Brea to Jackson Robinson, all these guys were, you know, known three-point shooters. This team could shoot it as well. I just think they brought in some guys like a Jalen Lowe that can score in a lot of different ways. Oweh scores a little bit differently, but they can all still shoot it, which makes it dangerous because the team's got to decide, all right, you got such a good one-on-one basketball team, a team that's physical, they can put it on the floor. All right, so teams will have to play in the gaps, which is going to open it up for hopefully some open threes for some guys that can make it.
And guys, you mentioned earlier that a night like tonight, blue-white scrimmage, it's just another data point. But ultimately, you're starting to gear up for the season. As we take a look at the upcoming schedule, you're going to get a litmus test type game against #1 Purdue. And I thought it was interesting when we talked to Mark Pope earlier today. He said, we're going to learn who we are now in that game.
Well, I think both teams will. I mean, in both teams, there's obviously high expectations for both of them. They're both considered two of the best teams in the country. But don't think for a second both teams are going to try to win the game. Even though it's an exhibition game and it doesn't count on your schedule, they're both going to try to win the game.
A top 10 exhibition match, I love it.
And we know Big Blue Nation would not stand a loss on Twitter, right? 12-point Blue edge as Aberdeen gets downhill, misses it. The offensive rebound for Marino. He is fouled. Foul's not resetting in this blue-white game, so Marino will head to the free throw line. First team to 34 will win. We don't know what's going to happen after that. Right now, Blue off to a hot start with Marino at the free throw line.
We're seeing a lot already just in this short scrimmage. You're already seeing a lot more drives than you saw from the team last year. You know, Oweh last year was the main guy that was driving to the rim. Amari Williams could actually drive it from the top of the key a little bit. This team here, you've got from Aberdeen to Diabate to Otega to there's multiple guys that can put it on the floor.
Marino 0 of 2 from the line. Perhaps a glimmer of hope here. The door cracked open for White. Need to get going in a hurry. Denzel Aberdeen playing some great defense there on Jalen Lowe. Now the switch to Trent Noah. Diabate, this is a mismatch. Spins, throws it up, draws the foul.
So strong.
The foul goes on Denzel Aberdeen, the Florida transfer. That will put Mo Diabate at the free throw line. Great recognition here by Diabate with the mismatch.
Yeah, a bigger guard, physical guard. You saw Oweh post up a little bit more earlier in the scrimmage. I think that's an area they're looking to exploit a little bit more with these big guards. You know, sitting there looking at this team, though, a little bit, you know, you could put in there, there's going to be different type lineups and rotations because you're a lot deeper, but you could put a defensive team out there that could just be absolutely incredible if you had, you know, obviously Oweh was first team all defensive team, and you know, Aberdeen and Mo Diabate, these guys are elite defenders. Then you got Brandon Garrison inside, who's an elite shot blocker. Marino's a great shot blocker. You could have a really good defensive lineup out there.
Diabate, 1 of 2 from the free throw line. And I think that point is exactly why Big Blue Nation's really excited about what this team could be this season. Here's Owe, pulls from the free throw line. Marino battling for the basketball, comes up with the O board.
Marino's got a nose for the ball. He seems like he's always around it. Offensive rebounding.
Here's Jasper Johnson trying to get downhill. Good stop there by Diabate. Aberdeen sizing up Garrison. Into the paint, nowhere to go. Here's Trent Noah, 2 on the shot clock, spins over Chandler. The tough shot will not go. White needs a basket right here. 0 for their last 4 from the field.
That's
and
tough.
Lowe provides
That's
one. 9 points now for Jalen Lowe, but quickly the other way, it's Trent Noah. And don't look now, White's climbing back in this.
They are.
That's what they need, quick threes to get back in it.
Maybe the pressure of the Elam ending, getting to them a little bit. Here's Diabate wide open, that's a 3.
Got a lot of lefties on this year's team too. A lot of lefties.
Lefty's harder to guard, Michaela?
I absolutely believe so. Because it's just uncommon, on the basketball court. The first thing somebody tells you is force them left, and then sometimes out there's a sneaky one that's actually left-handed.
Exactly what you need a leader to do. Go get you a basket.
Exactly right.
Alongside a couple of UK greats, Michaela Epps, Travis Ford, I'm Noah Frary. Elam ending 34, first team to get to it.
And Blue
would have the
has yet to
walk-off
score.
winner. So what's White doing well defensively, Michaela?
I think the Elam ending done got Blue a little jittery, and I just think that White kind of picked it up a little bit. The huddle, I saw them all over there talking amongst each other, and then they put the Elam ending on it. So they're contesting more shots at the rim. They're actually fighting and scrapping for the rebounds now, and then they're trying to pick up scrap points down here on the other end.
So you're saying suddenly there's some pressure on Blue.
Yep.
Here's Jasper Johnson. He doesn't know pressure.
That's
Hits the tough 2. Blue needing just 6 points to walk away a winner. Here's Diabate. Backing down Noah. Potter couldn't get the 3 off. Good closeouts from Blue. Chandler over Owe. No good. Potter with the O board. And Yelovich with the block. The long arm of the law.
2 7-foot guys battling it out.
Here's Owe gonna drive on Potter, and it goes. Blue to 30.
Here we go, Blue, come on.
White 1 for their last 7 from the field. And Lowe fouled down, holding that right shoulder. And that's exactly what you do not want to see in a game like this.
Yeah, I think it's his shoulder. Yeah, that's what you just don't want.
Brandon Wells, the head athletic trainer, out to attend to Jalen Lowe. That right shoulder appeared to get tangled up as Otega Owe attempted that steal.
Shoulders. Yeah, he's holding it as if it might have popped out a little bit. Maybe, you never know. But
A little AC
he looks
joint
like
sprain,
he's
maybe.
doing a little better.
A little stinger. Hopefully nothing too crazy.
Certainly Big Blue Nation holding their breath. Jalen Lowe expected to be the starting point guard for this team. Looked like him and Owe just got tangled up a bit right here. Lowe was able to walk off under his own power, but certainly it puts a bit of a cloud over this blue-white game right now, with blue up by 13. First to 34 would take this blue-white scrimmage. And you have to imagine, if you're a player out on the floor right now, that bothers you a little bit. That's your teammate that just went down.
No question. You don't ever want to see anyone get hurt. And you're out here. This is supposed to be fun tonight, and you don't want anyone to get hurt. And they know how important Jalen is to their team, and he's their teammate. So I'm sure they're concerned. And but he looked like he was feeling a little bit better as he walked off. Hopefully, it's nothing serious.
Now you'd expect Colin Chandler to take over as the point guard here. He was forced to play that point guard position a lot at the end of last season due to all the injuries in the guard room. Getting downhill, here's the lefty, Diabate for three, short. Hawthorne battling, couldn't put it back. Ahead for Johnson, Blue needs just 4 to walk off a winner. Here's Aberdeen. Trying to go right back to Marino, but White read it perfectly. Diabate drives through the contact and will head to the free throw line.
We just saw on the other end Garrison disrupting the offense with a deflection. One area Coach Pope's looking to is to try to score a little bit more off their defense, try to create a few more turnovers with their defense, make the other team's offense uncomfortable. Garrison's definitely a guy that can do that with his size and length.
Expected to play a much bigger role this season at that 5 position. Him and Marino expected to carry that heavy load early on in the year, and obviously Jaden Quaintance perhaps looming. Mark Pope has said that his recovery from that ACL tear is going extremely well, but still some uncertainty on when we're going to see Jaden Quaintance in a Kentucky jersey.
Yeah, he, like I said, it sounds like his progress is coming along really, really well. I don't think they're rushing anything. But, you know, you see him at practice, walking around, taking a few shots. He looks good.
And many will tell you around campus, you'll see him walking around with a basketball as well. Here's Johnson with a deep 3. Again, skips off the rim. Noah forces the O-board. Yelovich eyeing his 3rd 3. Off right iron. Look at Marino battle.
Look at Marino.
Couple of O-boards on this possession. It leaves it for Johnson.
That's Marino's 3 there. He was relentless.
Absolutely.
Relentless on the glass to create an offensive rebound for that 3.
Blue needs to stop and score.
Yeah, they better.
Diabate.
Need a lot of stops.
Oh, fun little battle right here. Diabate crosses up Yelovich and throws it down. Blue can win it here. Bullet pass, and Yelovich will lose it out of bounds.
It's one way to get back into it, get a few turnovers. Dunk on
how
one
about
end.
these moves?
Yeah.
Make him dance. Make him dance.
That's a college veteran versus a rookie right there.
Yeah, exactly. But you're seeing it right now. The 2 positions that may not be real deep at is maybe the point and at the 5 right now with Quaintance out, because you see, obviously, you mentioned Chandler playing the point now, but when you start looking at the 2 3s and 4s, there's a lot of them, a lot of talent.
Here's Cam Williams driving. That one deflected out. It will stay with White. And you talk about the depth and the excitement about the depth if you're Mark Pope, but it also is going to lead to quite a few tough decisions as the season progresses.
Good problem to have.
Not bad.
Yeah, absolutely. Look down the bench and have options.
Nice.
An and 1 for Brandon Garrison. That's what they pay him the big bucks for, right?
That's right. Exactly right. Great eyes there. Great pass. Good finish. White's got a lot of work to do.
You know, guys, something that I want to point out about this team tonight is that it's a new look for me that's different for me is that, you know, you don't have those big-named McDonald's All-American guys out here. You know, Coach Pope has him a team of guys that he put together, and I think he's got a solid group without all the extra shine and hype, you know.
Right.
He's got some kids that love basketball and want to play hard for their coach.
And it's a great, the roster makeup's a great mixture as far as class. Between freshmen, there's a lot of sophomores on this team.
Absolutely.
Between freshmen, sophomore, juniors, seniors, older guys, returners, newcomers.
And I think in stark contrast to previous eras, you look at this roster and like 95% of these players could be back next year as Blue puts it in, but they're going to wave the basket off, so we'll play on.
Yelovich playing the international rules. Ball's on the rim, trying to dunk it back.
That one was gonna fall. That one probably would have fell.
The international rules, once the ball hits the rim, it's a live ball.
Live, yep.
Look for that rule to come in at some point in the college game here.
White trying to stay in this game. Blue needing just 1 point to walk off a winner. Colin Chandler gets the switch, pulls up over Marino. Can't hit. Diabate fighting for the O board. Up underneath.
So strong.
And that's
so
the
strong.
grittiness that he's going to bring this year.
And
oh, look at him. Look at him.
And Diabate do it
look
again.
At him, look at him.
Yes, he can.
He scored the last 6.
Here comes White.
He scored the last 6 for White. Pure strength.
Are you not entertained?
Yeah, he's doing exactly what we've heard about him, what we've seen. He is just an aggressive, hard-playing, versatile basketball player and does a lot of his stuff just through strength and willpower. See him taking on the contact. Not afraid to mix it up.
Can put it on the floor.
You know, you look at Aberdeen coming from Florida, obviously won a national championship at Florida, and he, you know, the games he started, he averaged like 14 or something points. He started like 5 games, but he's, you know, obviously won a national championship. You look at a guy like Diabate who played at Alabama, won a lot of games. You know, it matters bringing in transfers that know what it takes to win, what that culture looks like.
And that doesn't necessarily always show up here at the beginning of the season,
no.
but it's going to loom very large as this team moves into March.
Oh, absolutely. You'll start seeing more and more of that January, February when conference play hits. When you're spending more time probably in the locker room than you are on the practice court. You know, that's when all the leadership starts mattering, when it gets deeper into the season and it becomes really more of a mental game than it is a physical game.
Well, blue team right now staked to a 7-point edge. White trying to claw their way back in. We saw Colin Chandler with an athletic play earlier to get it to Diabate. And Colin Chandler, he was on fire at Big Blue Madness. This was his first dunk, and then check it out. You jump from the free throw line, basically, and on top of that, an assist from John Wall.
I hope everybody understands how hard that is. I mean, that for him to just get the ball in the rim and be able to dunk it, that was wasn't the greatest lob by John Wall, but he figured it out. Yesterday, Colin Chandler was on fire in practice. I bet he made 6, 7, 8 threes. Felt like in a row. And he has the ability to get hot. He hadn't made many tonight, but he has the ability to get really hot.
And I think you forget that Colin Chandler was a top 40 prospect coming out of high school, chooses to follow his faith, a 2-year mission, and I think he spent last year just getting back into playing shape, and you saw him start to play really well at the end of the year. Big Blue Nation hoping he carries it into this year. Blue can win it here. He just won for the Elam ending. No way back on the floor.
I'm calling it early on Colin Chandler next year. If he comes back, he'll be Big Blue Madness dunk champion again.
Calling a three-peat. Here's Oweh, fell down. Chandler bats it out of bounds, but it will stay with Blue. A chance to win it.
White's locked in. White's locked in.
Who you going to here, Travis?
I think Oweh's going to try to win it. I think he was trying to win it there. He was trying to get loose and go one-on-one. If he gets the ball in his hands, he's going to try to win it.
Takes the three. It won't go. Had a number of game winners last season. Couldn't get one there. Here's Diabate. He's been a one-man wrecking crew. Chandler's three, short.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, he wants to win it.
Drives, throws it up.
He wants to win it.
Blue just cannot get that final point.
Marino's up to 9 rebounds.
Great pass.
Short, an air ball from Chandler.
Look at Marino run the floor.
Numbers here for Blue. Yelovich for the win!
I called it. Blue for the win.
35-28, the final score. Blue wins it on the Elam Slam. unselfish pass there from Aberdeen.
Aberdeen, yeah. You know, that's Aberdeen, watching him practice yesterday, does have very good vision, can play some point if you need him to, probably more comfortable off the ball, but can play some point. But he can really defend. I think that's an area that they're going to really hope that he and, you know, Diabate can be stoppers, be a guy that, you know, you put on the other team's best scorers and say, hey, limit this guy, stop this guy. But just brings a winning mentality.
So we were teased that there could be more. The announcement has not been made, but Michaela, just a quick thought on what Blue was able to do. What impressed you with their cohesiveness?
Like I said, they meshed well early. They wasn't afraid to share the ball with one another early. They were aggressive on the defensive end together early, and again, key emphasis on the word together. You know, Blue just seemed a little bit more together than White did, and you know, I feel like that's what jumped them out to their early lead.
Well, let's hear from Mark Pope.
Vivian, can we give it up for our winning Blue team? We're going to call it a night. Thank you guys for coming out. We are so grateful for you. It's going to be an unbelievable season. Let's go, Cats.
Well, back inside historic Memorial Coliseum, where Mark Pope has just called it a night. Blue team will walk away winners here tonight over White. Stick around, though. Mark Pope set to join us here on the set momentarily. Travis, we talked about this just being another data point in the March, the build-up to this season. What can this coaching staff take away from what they learned tonight?
Well, they're looking at rotations, I think. Guys, you know, still trying to figure out who all plays well together. You don't get a whole lot out of this necessarily. You hope obviously Lowe's not injured, things like that, but you know, just good chance to get under the lights.
Kentucky out on top here. Mark Pope making his way over to the set. Certainly will be things that he was pleased with tonight, and areas that this team can continue to improve as they move closer and closer to this season. Now joined by Mark Pope here at historic Memorial Coliseum. This was a fun night tonight. We got to see these guys run up and down. I know you're a big data point guy. What were some things that you can take away from this evening?
Well, it was really important for us. We had a little nerves catching the ball early, and our guys did a nice job there. I felt like we did a nice job not getting too sped up where we didn't recognize things we were doing. I was really proud of that. We didn't shoot the ball great a little bit on the White team, but I felt like guys earned pretty good shots. I thought we were really relentless on the offensive glass, which is a huge key for us. We had some defensive breakdowns, but I like the group tonight a lot.
You know, Coach, as we sat here last year at this time, it was 13 new players. 13 players that never played together. Everybody's new, still learning your system. How much have you relied on Oweh, Garrison, Chandler, Noah to talk to the new guys about not just the system, but about the culture, about what it's like to play at Kentucky?
Yeah, it's been really fun to have those guys back. Not only can they translate what this experience is and what it means and why it's so unique, but also they've grown immensely. Talk about a guy like Brandon Garrison that might have just been trying to take things in last year. His voice is so good now, and he's making really good decisions, and in some other spaces he's so close to making really good decisions on the court. He knows our concepts, and he talks our guys through it. It's just his conditioning has improved so much. He's just a world different than he was a year ago. So you see that from those guys. It's not just that they can communicate what this is. It's just been fun to see how they've grown and how they've improved.
Hey, Coach, over here. Hi, Coach. Hi. Just a little bit more laid back on my end. Just want to know how excited you are just to get it started next week, opening it up against #1 Purdue. I know the guys have been grinding. Y'all been spending a lot of time in the gym playing against each other, just the difference between actually getting to play against somebody else.
Yeah, it's always a beautiful time in the season when you get to actually go against someone else. The complication and the beauty of this first 3-4 weeks of the season is that everything you do well, you do poorly, meaning if you have something work well defensively, it's like my offense is not functioning. If you have something work well offensively, it's like my defense is breaking down. And so it'll be nice to actually be able to have some full-on wins. It'll also be nice to start learning more about who we are as a group, facing great teams and veteran teams that have been for a while. So we'll get things exposed that we haven't even anticipated, and we'll actually learn that we could do some things that we haven't even jumped on yet. So that's the fun part of this preseason.
Coach, final question for you. We're a week away from the #1 team in the nation coming here to Lexington. You guys will face them at Rupp Arena. What's your message right now to Big Blue Nation?
Well, it's going to be a ride, man. I love this team that we have. I got a bunch of guys that are come compete and fight and battle. They do every single day. And this is going to be a great ride. I'm excited for BBN that they get to enjoy this season, and you know, I know how this is here. Like, we're going to live and die with every single moment and every single you know, curve in the road, and we're going to do it together. We're going to celebrate together, and we're going to beat each other up, and it just is, it's the greatest thing ever. So buckle up, guys, and let's go.
Well, Coach, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, y'all.
That was Kentucky men's basketball head coach Mark Pope, set to kick off his second season at the helm of this program with plenty of expectations. Guys, before we sign off for the night, Travis, I'll start with you. Just some closing thoughts on the evening.
Well, first, I hope Jalen Lowe's okay. Hopefully he's okay. I think this is going to be a fun, exciting team. I think there's a lot of weapons on both sides, from the offense to the defensive end. There's a lot of talent, and they're going to play one of the toughest schedules in college basketball.
Michaela, it happened a little bit earlier in the evening, but the women out here on this floor, just some closing thoughts on what you saw from them tonight and what has you excited about their upcoming season.
First things first, again, just lucky that the women are now able to get the blue-white scrimmage opportunity in front of more of Big Blue Nation or fans that are not used to the women's game or supporting the women's game. So, you know, hopefully they drew enough interest tonight, which I'm sure they should, as they deserve. And hopefully some of these fans come back and support these ladies this season. You know, like I said, I'm a fan of the Kenny Brooks era, just like Coach Pope said. You know, buckle up for the ride. You know, it's going to be a ride. We got new faces on both sides of the program, new head coaches in their second and third years, you know, respectfully, already making great strides and good things happen for both programs. So, you know, I'm a alumni, I'm a Hall of Famer, and I'm everything blue and white. So again, I'm a super fan, and I wish both coaches, both teams, the most success. And tonight was fun.
Well, Michaela, Travis, it's been great working with you guys tonight, too. The greatest to ever do it in a Kentucky jersey. Well, a fun night. The women showing their stuff off, the men following them up. A great night here as we gear up towards basketball season. So for Travis Ford, Michaela Epps, our producer Daniel Gibbons, and the rest of our crew, I'm Noah Frary saying so long from Lexington. This has been a presentation of SEC Men's Basketball on the SEC Network.